Good day, gentlemen. I've been with my girl for over 5.5 years, but I grew up as a people pleaser, and that became very evident, not just with my friends, but then especially when I got into my relationship. And I very quickly realized that I needed to change something, because I honestly realized that through just trying to give and give and give and please her, I actually won't get what I want, right? But then I had to learn how to actually overcome these tendencies, how to get rid of this fear of acting authentic. And yeah, I want to share 4 key lessons with you, basically compress 5.5 years of learning and experience into 4 key lessons so you can actually overcome your nice guy tendencies yourself and actually get what you want from your relationship and from your friendships and from life in general. Because man, the truth is, you will not get, and I would not have gotten what I wanted if I continued acting in these ways. Because at the end of the day, the most difficult... The cow wanted to contribute something as well. I hope we're okay with that. No, just kidding. But we have some curious bystanders again here today. Maybe they'll walk into frame later on. There's a couple of cows next to me, right? You get the point. At the end of the day, I started in my relationship resenting my girl for, like, almost blaming her for me not acting authentic, for me having this fear of just putting myself out there and actually saying what I want to say. And that, of course, didn't work, right? I was very much that weakling. And then also, I will say this, I didn't want to go to the other end of the spectrum because I was bullied for 8 years. I didn't want to become that tyrant, that fucking egotistical man-child. I didn't want to become that guy, right? I didn't want to become so insecure that I had to let it out on other people. So I want to give you, like I said, these 4 key lessons so you can combine the good sides from both of these ends of the spectrum and actually elevate them, right? When you look at mature masculinity, what this actually is you have the shadow side of the king, right? And the shadow side of the king, one of the shadow sides, the passive shadow side, is the weakling, and the active shadow side is the tyrant. We don't want either of those. We want to become that king, right? That grounded, masculine guy who says what he wants to say, who acts authentic, who's comfortable in his own skin. That's who I want to be. That's who you want to be. And also, that's who our women want us to be. So, fucking fantastic. Lines up. Let's get there. Now, lesson number 1 is very, very crucial. I'm going to give you a mindset shift in a couple of seconds, but I want to preface this by saying, at the end of the day, what I was afraid of mostly was me saying what I want and then people not liking me for it. And people, confirming my fear of me not being adequate in that sense. I'll just be very, very brutally honest with you, right? And what I realized, though, is the feminine side of a woman that most men find so attractive, right? Not all men lean more to the masculine, but you get the point. I do, you probably do as well. The feminine part of a woman that we find so attractive, that we want more, that sweet, loving, radiant side of her. That side just wants to relax in her man's presence. She just wants to relax in the demonstration of your direction. That's a quote by David Deida. Maybe you've heard of this guy. And at the end of the day, that really is it. When I realized that, I was like, you know what? I just need to become more decisive here. I need to become more of that maturely masculine leader, and I need to lead her to where she wants to go. Not be that weakling that can't make a decision, that is too afraid of upsetting anyone or anyone calling him out for his opinions and thus not sharing any opinions, but also not being that tyrant that rules over the woman, right? No woman wants that, especially not nowadays. And they're correct in that, right? 100%. So, how do we actually get there? Here's a mindset shift for you. You think that having opinions or making decisions is difficult and can lead to a bad outcome. The only way that you can actually have a bad outcome is if you make no decision. Because if you don't make a single decision, what's going to happen? People will rule over you, people will walk all over you, you will not actually live authentically, and you will not get any feedback. What I mean with feedback is, if you make a great decision, if you make the right decision, you will get positively reinforced for that, right? By the world, by yourself, by everyone, by everything. Because you will see, hey, this was the right decision. Great, I'll make this decision in the next situation, in the next time that I have this situation, I'll make the same decision, right? You get feedback. The same thing happens, though, when you make the wrong decision. So making a wrong decision is actually good because it gives you feedback. It shows you, hey, dude, this is where to not go. So this is where you should try next. But if you don't make a single decision, you cannot grow. And your woman cannot trust you, and she cannot relax in your presence. And then she becomes nagging, and she becomes negative, and she becomes uninterested in sex because she sees that you're not stepping up. And her becoming nagging and irritable, that is her way of expressing that you're not actually stepping up to the plate and that you're not leading her. And of course, you don't need to become that leader who always knows exactly what to do, but what you can do is you can give your opinion, state where you want to go, and then you can ask for her opinion, right? Because getting her input is often also important, especially her feminine intuition. She often knows what you should be doing. I'll be very honest with you. With business decisions or bigger life decisions, I often ask consciously for the input of my girl because she has that bigger vision for life, right? The masculine is very striving. The feminine is more flowing, but more vision focused, more on the whole thing. The masculine is just direction through the fucking thing. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. You care about the outcome. She cares about relaxing. You care about, will the food at this restaurant be good? She doesn't even care about that. She just cares about relaxing and just being guided. She just wants to be like, cool, I don't have to do anything. I just do this, this, and this. I get dressed or something, and then he picks me up and we go on that date or whatever it might be, right? But she doesn't have to plan anything. She doesn't have to organize anything. She can just be like, you know what? I trust him. And of course, you have to get that reputation, right? You have to build that reputation up. But you get the point. You care about the outcome. She just cares about relaxing. So you guide. And this is not to say that you rule over her. Don't become that tyrant, right? It's very easy to fall into that. Don't become that guy. You won't succeed with that. Now, lesson number 2 is a very quick one, but also a very impactful one. I told this to multiple of my clients, and for all of them, it just made click, and they realized, fuck, I have bought into the wrong paradigm, the wrong worldview, the wrong belief. So essentially, people nowadays say, you need to love yourself to love others. I'm calling bullshit on that. Because people who don't like themselves, who don't love themselves, who are not comfortable in their own skin, what happens? They cling on to every relationship they can get. They fall in love extremely quickly. So instead, this saying should be, you need to love yourself to get love from others, to receive the love from other people. Because here's the thing, man. If you don't like yourself and you don't respect yourself, you can't even take a compliment. I know this from myself, because whenever someone, a couple of years ago, right, whenever someone would actually give me a heartfelt, genuine compliment, I would be like, whatever, right? I would try to play it off. Now I just say thank you. I mean this. Now I'm at a point where I literally, when someone makes me a compliment, I'm just like, hey, thank you, man, that's awesome. And I can actually take that compliment. Now, if you can't even take a compliment, that metaphorical compliment, right, you can't even receive other people's love, how will you get your needs met in bed? Just think about that for a moment. If you can't even receive love, praise from other people, because you're not secure enough within yourself, how will you get your needs met in bed? You won't. That's the honest truth. And of course, all of this comes down to the fact that people, who can't take compliments, who can't receive compliments, who can't receive love, they don't respect themselves enough, right? And we're going to talk about this more in lesson number 3 and go deeper on this. But before we go into that, I quickly want to say, if you are not just watching this video for entertainment or fun purposes or because you're procrastinating or anything, but because you actually want to transform your relationship into that loving and sweet and fun and secure and passionate relationship, then what you can do is you can actually apply for a discovery call with me. You can basically just click the link in the description, apply for a call with me. It takes 1 minute to apply, and maybe we'll talk soon and we can see whether, your relationship, whether I can help you with that, and if I can, whether it makes sense for you to work with me. Now, lesson number 3, I picked up from someone who has mastered self-respect, who respects himself a fuck ton, and it is reflected through his actions, but who also, and this is the crucial point, has mastered his mind. I'm not going to say just now who that is. I'm going to mention this later. But he basically said, self-respect comes from personal accountability. I think that was the quote, something around that. Self-respect comes from personal accountability. What that means is, if you say you're going to do something, you do it. And if you think this is what I'm going to do tomorrow, you do it. I'll be very honest with you. I have a lot going on in my life, to the point where I'm going to move to a different country in less than a month. I did not want to film this video today. I have so much stuff to do. But I promised myself that I would film this video today, and so I'm doing it. And I'm doing it way later than I thought I would. It's like 3:30 p.m. right now. Usually I film these videos in the morning, but I'm still doing it. And that's why I respect myself. That shows me, hey, people should respect me because I respect my own decisions. I respect my own words. And then other people, this is what you'll find out. One of the things you'll find out is other people can actually then trust you much more and respect your words much more. Now, there is this quote. I just want to mention this here. You might think this has nothing to do with relationships, but I'll bring this back. This will make sense in a moment. This quote by this I believe Persian philosopher Heraclitus. And he said, in war, out of every 100 men, 10 shouldn't even be there. 80 are just targets. 9 are real fighters, and they win that battle. Oh, but one is a true warrior. And that one true warrior will bring all the others home safe again. And then, in combination with that, there's this quote by David Goggins, who is also the guy that I mentioned at the start of this lesson. The guy who said self-respect is the only way to, or personal accountability is the only way to self-respect, something like that, right? He said, from the day you are born, you are eligible to die. Just think about that for a moment. Like, that's only half the quote, but just think about that for a moment. From the day you are born, you are eligible to die. But then he said, but you are also eligible to find your greatness and become that one warrior. And here's the thing, man. Once you actually say you're going to do something and then actually do it, you have that personal accountability. You're going to see that multiple things happen. Like, trust me, these things will happen in your life quicker than you might think. Firstly, everyone around you will respect you more. People might not like you more, but they will respect you more because they can see that you respect yourself and your own words and your own actions and your own life. Secondly, people are now actually more willing and more open to helping you because they can see that now you're not trying to be that hero anymore, you're being that warrior. And a warrior, if he needs help, he will ask for it and he will get it because people again respect him, right? A hero is completely afraid of asking for help and he won't get it because of that. And thirdly, you will find that it's not just okay, but it's actually freeing if you lose a few people here and there on the way. And that might be your girlfriend. I hope for you it's not, but it might be. Now, let's bring this back. Here's the point. At the end of the day, people who don't align with your authentic self, they shouldn't be in your life, and you know this. I don't have to tell you this shit, but I have to remind you of it. This is nothing new, but I have to remind you of this stuff. Because if someone cannot support you on your life path and you cannot support them on their life path, there is no point in having a relationship together, whether that's romantic or just friendship relationship, right? It doesn't make any sense. And here's the thing. There's something called Dunbar's number, right? Robin Dunbar, a scientist or researcher rather, made this up. And he basically said, and there's like multiple numbers, but he basically said, at every level of intimacy, like very far related, like very far people that you see like once a year or something kind of far away from you, or close friends or like closest people around you, right? At every one of those levels, you can only have a certain amount of people, like a certain number of people around you. And so the closest level of that is like very close people, which is probably your best friend, maybe 2 best friends, right? Maybe 1 or 2 family members and a partner. And that's it. That's literally it. And these could obviously be mixed up in different amounts, but you get the point. And here's the thing. If some bad friend takes up one of those spots, that will hurt your life. It will hurt your relationships because male friends are extremely important if you want to have a good relationship, right? Male friends help you back into your masculinity when you've fallen out of it. They help you with everything. You need good friends in your life. They will help you with everything, but also massively with your relationship. And so, man, by actually acting how you should act, acting authentically, well, you attract who you are. You attract people who are similar to the image you put out in the world. And so if you put an authentic image of who you truly are or who you truly want to be out into the world, you will attract those people to you automatically. I can speak from experience here because I've lost quite a lot of friends on this path of, personal development, whatever you want to call it. They went a completely different path, and that's okay. And I still love those guys. When I meet them in public, I will talk to them, and that's great. But still, they don't understand me. I don't really understand them. And so why should we be friends? Now I have friends who I can literally connect with on a very deep basis and can talk about anything with. And here's the thing, man. My best friend, I'll just tell you this because this has to do a lot with relationships. You might not believe it, but it has to. You will, mark my words here. And maybe if you don't realize this now, in a couple of months or years, you will realize how important your friends are for your romantic relationship to be good or bad at the end of the day. Now, my best friend, who I've known since I was literally 6 years old, we lost sight of each other as teenagers. And we only found each other again because I asked him hey, dude, do you want to have a conversation about this topic? And he was like, fuck yeah, I want to. And then we found out, hey, we actually have the same exact interests. We have the same exact interests in life. And ever since, dude, we have become such good friends. I would have not had this guy in my life if I didn't put myself authentically out there. And yes, he could have been like, what the fuck did you want to talk about? Dude, you're such a dumbass, whatever. I made myself vulnerable in that moment. Here's the thing. You have to do the exact same thing with your partner. Because why do you want a partner in your life who doesn't even know your authentic self? I don't want that. The cow agrees. Now, lesson number 4 is by far the most important lesson in this video because I always keep the most important lessons to the end of these videos because I only want people who are actually committed to transforming themselves and their relationship to get these lessons. So, here we go. People, including your partner, cannot trust your yes if you do not say no when you want to. Can you trust someone who always does what other people ask of him even though he wants to do something different? No, you can't trust that guy. Because when he says yes, you don't know if he actually wants to say yes or if he just says yes to please someone because he's afraid of upsetting someone. And here's the thing, man. That guy has zero integrity and zero balls. You can't trust him. The exact same thing is true for your partner, your girl, and you. She can't trust you if you always say yes to everything, even though sometimes you actually want to say no. And here's the thing, additional lesson here, bonus lesson for you. She knows exactly who you are. When you look into spirituality, when you look into feminine and masculine essences, you quickly also find out that the feminine has a very strong intuition, very strong empathy, right? Basically, you can see this. When you look at someone as a man or as a more masculine person, you look at someone, you don't see the intricate details of their facial expression. A woman does. A woman feels very deeply, very deep empathy for people, right? And so she can see exactly who you are. She can see right through you. She knows who you are and who you want to be, who you want to act as. And if you don't, then she will lose trust in you automatically. Of course she will. And here's the thing, David Deida, again, I'm mentioning this guy, right? I mentioned him earlier. He calls this the oracle. He basically says that your woman will call you out if you're not being authentic. And whether that's directly calling you out or calling you out through being irritable, uninterested in sex, or just nagging all the time, she will call you out. She will tell you directly or indirectly that you're not actually stepping up, that you're not actually being who she knows you want to be. And she can't trust that guy. I mean this. Just accept that she knows exactly who you are and exactly who you want to be. Even if this wasn't true, which it is, but even if it wasn't true, it would still hold you accountable to being authentic, to being who you actually are, and to just saying, hey, you know what? I don't want to do this. Because here's the thing, man. Also, a lot of guys, when they get out of their nice guy tendencies, they then become this kind of men going their own way, red pill kind of guy, right? That this very I'm going to focus on myself, I'm not going to talk to anyone, whatever, this kind of cold person. I'm not that person. Most likely you aren't either. we have that side, and we sometimes need to use that side. We need to be very assertive sometimes, and not just assertive, but like aggressive almost in how we take action. Not aggressive towards other people, obviously, but aggressive in how we take action. We need that side, that warrior within us. But we also have the lover inside of us. We have that very warm side inside of us, right? And so I show that side as much as I can when I want to, right? And this is not about becoming a red pill, men going their own way, fucking woman-hating man. This is not what this is about. This is about becoming who you actually want to be and becoming who you actually are. So if you are a very warm and loving person, be that person. Simple as that. And again, brother, some people will not be able to deal with your authentic self, and that's okay. Simple as that. Now, if you have come to the conclusion that you actually want to give yourself and your relationship the best shot possible at getting to that deep and loving and fulfilling and sweet and fun relationship that you actually want, and you're a hardworking man, then I want to offer you my help. Because I've helped a bunch of hardworking men who are in very similar positions to you actually get to that relationship that you want. What I offered all of those guys and what I'm going to offer you is a free discovery call. Basically a call where we talk about your relationship, we talk about where you're at and where you want to go, and we basically figure out, can I help you get there? And if I can, I will then tell you what I have to offer, how that works and everything. And yeah, that's pretty much that. I also want to be very honest and upfront about the fact that I only have 24 hours in a day, just like you. There's a lot of men who want to work with me right now because I'm growing so quickly on YouTube. But if you are still ready to take that step and actually get to that relationship with your woman where she is open and sweet and loving and trusting of you, and you feel respected, and you feel peaceful, you feel at ease, and you feel capable of handling this relationship very well, then man, click that link in the description right now. Don't hesitate. The cow agrees. See, dude, the cow agrees. Nah, dude, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But click that link in the description right now. Fill out the application. It takes literally 1 minute. It's 5 questions. And then maybe we will talk soon on one of those discovery calls. Have a great day.